Hi guys, so welcome to the video. Today we're going to dive into what is on my desk at the minute. I have a full kind of 40-minute video ready for you, but I don't have enough storage yet, so we will hopefully do that next week. But today I wanted to just show you a couple of things I've been thinking about through this kind of snow globe we've been in. So this is the current kind of situation on my desk. I've got piles of paper of things I've been working on probably in the last couple of weeks, and these kind of collect into my sort of yearly sketchbook. I'll show you that. We've kind of talked a little bit about that, but so for the last little while I have been thinking about this. It's called Schmincke Aqua modelling paste, and there's also, I think Winsor & Newton have Aqua Pasto, or I'm not sure. There are a few of these kind of things around. I was thinking about this. I got it probably even at the beginning of last year to try some things, and just had never gotten around to it. So this week I kind of pulled it out. So I'd been meaning to get some modelling clay tools and things like that, but I ended up, you'll see what I do in the video. And what I'm wanting to try is how does watercolour go on top of it. You can see I'm also looking at these floral fragments, these kind of sort of borrowed off wallpapers, but this is my first little instance. And then so I'm kind of showing you here what these papers are a part of. This little pile, last year I did one, and this year I'm doing one. These are kind of 5-minute or, very quick sketches, but it kind of ends up being a visual diary of things I'm thinking of through the year. The nice thing is that because I don't have a set number of pages, I can just add to it as I feel like it. So that's the thing I really enjoy about it. And I think this is where we left off: the unfinished Christmas tree, the geese, and then I tried, Millie, quite a few of you have been asking me if I sketch, and I don't really sketch animals, so I knew this would be a learning curve. You have to start somewhere, so yeah. But I did these standing at the back door. It was dark. She was sitting out on her favourite pile of snow. She kind of sort of leans down it, and when you're looking at her, I wrote on the back here, you can't really see her eyes, so you really just more see kind of the white marking down her nose. So anyway, I just wanted to capture that because it's quite funny, like when you're looking out to call her for dinner or something and she's just sitting there and you can't really see if she's looking at you, but she is. So this is just an Orbison fragment, again, that kind of carpet one that I've been thinking about. And then this is just another iteration of this view. It was kind of a nocturne one. And then we get to where we are today. So the next thing was kind of this powder blue floral one, and then these plaster ones. So this is a really interesting medium, and I really like it for the fact that you can kind of build up the almost like a bit of a bas relief on the watercolour paper. It says on the side, medium for watercolours achieves white relief like fine painting grounds on paper. So I just basically used my tip of my finger, and you can see I got quite like a dollop so that I could get these kind of sort of puffy, like I'm looking for I started creating petals, and then I realized I could create this kind of Baroque-esque kind of Rococo frame. So I'm just going to quickly show you the shape here. So each one of these is kind of like the fingerprint, and then some are on top of the one behind, some are going a different way, and then you just kind of build this little arch, and then at the bottom of that you'll put like a longer stroke. You can kind of add to those as well. We're just really doing this cascading motion of these kind of arches. You can see we did a little one up the other way to kind of just give a little bit more of that form and a bit of interest. And then this is just kind of the shape of the paper there, so you can see. So it's quite tricky to kind of show you, but you can see like I am sort of gathering quite a bit here, and then I'm wanting the top of it to have that kind of nice little amount. So yeah, it's hard to do on camera, but anyway. Also, I'm just going to show you here with watercolor, because the other thing you can do is something like this. Similarly with watercolor, I do fix the top of those so they're a little bit more shaped here. But yeah, I just want you to see that you could do a project like this with watercolor or with other mediums you may have. And just basically create a little border to paint within. You could use gold ink. I'm using an ink that I'll show you maybe in my next studio session. So I just mixed the gold and silver ink together to get this kind of more champagne gold. And what I found that with a really light touch, I could pretty much apply that straight away. So very early days, this is just something very new I'm experimenting with. I hadn't wanted to really show it yet because you know, I've only been working on it pretty much a couple of times for a few minutes this week. But I thought, since the other video, I'm struggling with the storage issue anyway, so yeah, I thought this would just be a nice thing to kind of show you what I've been working on. So I'm using this really pale kind of minty colour. This is a colour that I make with a pigment that's not actually really commercially available, but you can use something like maybe a phthalo green with, you know, so much white. Also maybe some zinc white. It makes it a bit more transparent. I think Michael Harding has a zinc white. And yeah, or like a viridian, something really bright like that, but that you can add so much white to. And then you could also maybe mix it with a bit of blue to sort of create the colour that you would like. So yeah, I kind of paint that around the top, and I was also just seeing, this was kind of the first time I had painted sort of around this while it was still wet, or you know, I'm just still playing around with it, but it seemed to go fine. You know, the water didn't bother it, the watercolor didn't bother it. And then I'm just painting kind of a sunset that I saw the other night under here. So you can see I'm starting off with very kind of dry paper here, and then I am quite a lot of pigment, and then I bring in water to kind of soften that all together where I want it, so that I don't end up with kind of a watery mess. I'm wanting these pages to dry quite quickly, so I don't necessarily build up too much water on them. And then yeah, I'm just adding some deeper and deeper blues down in this. This is kind of more of a granulating blue-black, and just softening that in here to give the sky a bit of that kind of more nocturnal scene feeling, like it's an evening sky coming on. And so then the last thing that I do, I let this dry for a little bit, and then I just come in and kind of put some branches, because when I saw it, I did see kind of this through the branches. Also, I'm just showing you that I will roll the paper at this stage, like when it's wet, if it's kind of bowing under, I will just kind of manage it into place there. Yeah. And then I just paint some quick branches on here. I'm just again like seeing you know, what it would look like, what would happen. So yeah, these are kind of the experiments for the week. Thanks for coming along with me, and let us know if you have any experience with kind of this watercolor modeling paste, or you know, what you think of it, or something else that you might be working on. And I will see you guys soon. Bye. you.